Money bleeds into every part of life. It's in our identity, our communication, our daily habits. I mean, everything. So today, one of my favorite guests, he's been on before, but he is back. Jefferson Fisher is here to talk about some wisdom when it comes to communication and conflict and how to do this well, because let's be honest, not all of us are great at it. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. All right, here's our conversation. Jefferson, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Rachel.
Yeah, last time we talked, it was like via Zoom.
This is much better.
It's from, I know. And yeah, it's fun. It's good.
I love
good
it.
to
Your
be in
space is
person.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I love all the content that you put out. I was just telling you before we hit record that I feel like I pull up Instagram and I'm like, I see you everywhere.
Yeah.
and your whole message has really caught on. So give me like a brief summary. Like, how would you explain to someone what you do?
I teach people how to communicate. Where somebody might teach you how to play an instrument, I teach you the chords. I teach you the notes to play. I give you the words. So I teach you how to say things with confidence. I teach you how to say things calmly and make sure you have control, which, as you know, leads to connection.
Oh, see, all the good words.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, what's the biggest mistake you see with people when they are communicating, and especially with conflict, like some disagreement starts to happen in the conversation. What do you see and like when you observe people, you're like, oh, that was a mistake.
That was it.
That was a mistake.
The biggest mistake is people think that just because you say it, it's heard the exact same way. So just because you sent it that way, that's exactly how they receive it. That's rarely the case.
Yeah.
I could say something to you and that's not at all how you heard it. Why? Because you've been in those arguments with your spouse, with your friend, and you go, that's not what I said. And like, yes, you did. And what do? You go, okay, tell me what I said. You like kind of challenge them. Okay,
Yes.
Tell me what I said. And what do? They almost kind of rehash and replay it. And they're like, you said it like this. And you're like, that's not at all what I said. And they're like, yes, it is. And what do they say? I wish I had it recorded. I wish there was a camera. I wish I had a camera to pick up what you just said.
Yes.
Right? So it's that right there. So instead of this, that's not what I said dynamic, I want you, instead, we can stop that if you just ask the question, what did you hear? What did you hear? It stops the back and forth and instead goes to, what did you actually hear? Which allows them to share it, which then allows you to clarify. So the quicker you get to intents, the better it's going to be. Okay,
that's so good. Okay, so when you are in conflict, or I'll speak for myself, and I feel like I'm not being heard, or that someone else is defensive, and I'm like, no. And I find myself, I like physically, I can like feel my body, like physically tense up. I can feel like a whoosh happen in me, right? Like the adrenaline. Whoosh. I get louder. I talk faster. I do all the things that you shouldn't do in conflict. What is happening inside of us when conflict arises, or we're in a conversation that's like triggering, and all of that is happening, and half the time not even aware of it, right? It's after that it's like, oh my gosh, I just got so worked up. What is happening, even like physiologically, like, right? Like our minds are going, I mean, what's going on in us?
In like milliseconds, your body's immediately into fight or flight. Now, I know your listeners, they're aware of fight or flight, what it is, but they may not be aware of how it impacts your everyday conversation. So when you say something that doesn't fit well with me, maybe it's a tone I don't like, maybe I didn't say, it's an opinion I don't agree with, your body goes, nah, I don't like that. Like in a millisecond. They go, nah, I disagree. Nope. And immediately you either want to say something, so you want to go on the fight, you want to say a hurtful word, you want to cut, you want to make them leave, or it's the flight. I want to, you ever been on the phone with somebody in an argument and all of a sudden it just got to a point where they just hung up on you?
It's just like, totally.
You're like, hello?
They eject.
I know they just didn't hang up on me.
Yeah, they just eject.
Yeah, or they say, you know what, I'm out of here, and they want to leave the room, slam the door.
Yes.
It's the flight. That's all it is. So in that moment, your body's going, I feel a threat to me, even if it's a difference of opinion.
Yes.
Because it might be that opinion says that I'm wrong. The opinion may not say, not even that I'm wrong. It might say my dad's wrong. It might say my grandfather's wrong. It might say that thing that I learned at camp when I was 8 is wrong.
Yeah.
And we will do everything. We will ignore all evidence, all logic, just to preserve the identity of what we know that makes us feel comfortable, because we don't like change. And so, and little bitty micro moments every day in our communication, that's what happens.
So interesting. How much we protect ourselves.
Yes.
And what we think and believe, right? And when someone starts tapping in that, it's like, whoa.
We don't like it.
Yeah. And, and even I mentioned social media earlier, but I'm like, even sometimes if I'm just like scrolling, there'll be some crazy video of some crazy person on one side of the aisle politically, right? And they're going nuts and all of it. Like when you see our world today and the state of how divisive, I feel like you can talk to people that, grew up in the 70s and they have their laundry list of how the world was for them too. But I feel like it is unique because we have the ability to communicate with people we don't even know, that we never have to even meet.
Yeah.
And so when you see all that divisiveness, like if you could wave the Jefferson wand over life, what would life look like that we are going to have difference of opinion, right, in our world.
Right.
But you can also have relationship with a person that has a different opinion than you. And somehow we are not great at that, is what it feels like.
Yeah, we've gotten into this place where the opinion that we see has to agree with our opinion. And if I have an opinion, I have to share it.
Right.
It's not only do I have to make sure that I have an opinion on it, I now have to make sure you know my opinion on it. And so people make content about it. People write in the comments about it. And it's always, of course, the most extreme opinions always get the most attention.
That's right.
That's the way it is. That's the one that gets the clickbait.
Yeah.
It's usually ones you most disagree with. I mean, I have grandparents that will pull up these links I see on Facebook that are fake,
Totally, yes,
and they're like, "Can you believe?" And you're like, "That's not real.
It's not real. It's really not real. Yes.
No, it's satire." And so there's a lot of that to where you go, what are they doing in that moment? They're pushing the button on that stress response of going, the world is changing, you are not, and I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. And there's an opinion that I have to share with everybody. Because we know good and well that there especially on certain social media platforms where people will, even if they have 10 followers, they will be so against and act like they have just put out the most important post on the subject that's ever existed.
The Middle East will have peace now.
Exactly.
Because Sarah.
Exactly. And it'll be like this paragraph long and 3 words in it are going to be totally all caps. And it's this, I've now said my piece and everything will be calm if everybody just listens to me.
Yes.
And so it kind of gives them their own little megaphone, so to speak.
For sure. Okay, so how do we live in a world, and I'm from a big social standpoint like we're talking about, but even just interpersonal relationships, where you do have an opinion, what's the balance of, I feel like, there's this, I don't know, conviction. I don't know what you would call it. Because I feel like there's certain camps of people that would say you need to stand up for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But yet I talk to people in another camp and they're like, just have peace. You're okay. Everything's fine. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be this fight or that you stand on something 24/7. But you're a pretty moral guy, I would say, Jefferson. So how do you balance that in life of, you do have an opinion about things. Again, big topics, small topics. But they don't all have to be verbalized, or when do you verbalize them? What does that look like?
Well, it also depends what's happening in your everyday. I've never seen more people more worked up over things that will never affect them. It doesn't matter who's in office. Usually your life changes very little, if at all.
Yeah.
Things you see on the news, you read worldwide. Of course, these news networks will create things and make you click on it, make you read it, and get you worked up and get you worried. But it's never going to affect your commute. It's never going to affect Sally that you know. It doesn't affect your everyday.
Yes,
and so at the same time, are you actually engaging in conversation with the person next to you, or are you sitting and scrolling on your phone? Are you who are you going to give attention and time to?
Yeah.
And so I find it funny that there's been this whole new shift, and maybe you've seen it too, where people are getting more landlines. And the houses.
Yes. We actually got one.
Did you really? Did you really?
Well, for our kids.
Yeah.
So that they can call us.
How's that been?
It's been so great. And
That's cool.
they can call, we have grandparent numbers and our siblings, my husband and I's siblings.
Like what we grew up with.
Yeah. And we laminated it and put it next to the landline. Yeah.
Did it do your heart good?
It was so good. Oh, I got a call on the way here, literally.
That's
and it
awesome.
said Cruz House. And it was my 6-year-old calling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's what I see. It's just a lot of it is we get worked up over people we'll never meet.
Yes.
And things that will never affect us.
Yes.
Rather than just focusing on
your day to day, right? And who's in there. So people that are in our day to day, that we have relationship with, what for you, when you see things arise, I don't know why I'm dealing with conflict so much. I just think it's an interesting topic. And someone does kind of snap back at you, and whether they belittle you, they do say something offensive. You're so good at this. I feel like you have all these categories of things that can happen in life. What are we supposed to do in those conversations if we feel like someone is just coming at us?
Right.
And we start to feel ourselves get worked up? How do you respond to someone like that?
Usually when somebody says something that's rude or belittling or disrespectful, it's very little to do about you. Right? I've seen one of the most powerful statements. seen, interacted with was somebody say, I don't know what's happening here, but it's not about me. Like that kind of thing is totally shifts the dynamic. What do you do when somebody kind of belittles you or says something like that? What I teach is, one, you want to take a breath. In other words, what you're doing is you're setting that equilibrium. You're setting the calm. You're allowing yourself to balance out, because it's really you. I can't control anything you say.
Right.
I can only make the decision of whether or not to control myself.
Yep.
And so when I take a breath, I'm going to keep it calm. I say about 5 to 7 seconds, almost enough to make it awkward, Rachel. And this is why, because it allows in that silence for them to hear their words back. It doesn't work that way if you immediately have that rapid response or you yell right back. Anything they said is now forgotten. You now have the spotlight. But if you never take that stand, if you never step on the podium, if you never step into that spotlight, it still remains on them. So if you have that 7 seconds of just awkwardness, they hear it back. And so a lot of times you hear I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Or I'd take it back. Or they adjust it in some way, because they don't like to show they're ugly.
Sure.
Right? Like, people don't like to feel like they're the villain.
So exposed. In that,
exactly.
Yeah.
So they Oop, that was a little too far. They're not taking it. I'll pull it back. Second of all, what I like to teach is you make them say it again. So in other words, you say, I need you to say that again. I need you to repeat that. And most of the time they won't, because they realize all the fun is gone. They were wanting that hit of dopamine. They were wanting you to engage. You didn't. And now it doesn't really work the second time. It's not nearly as fun now. It's like, if I had to get all my courage up to ask a girl out to a dance in junior high, and you finally ask, and she, take out her headphone, goes, what'd you say? And you're like, never mind, I'm going to go check out this, never mind. And you leave, because it's like, you already shot your shot.
Yes.
And so whenever you make them say it again, they typically will not.
All right, more of my conversation with Jefferson in just a minute. But first, I want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Delete Me. So if you don't remove your personal data from the internet, it's basically like a billboard for everyone to see, because your name, address, email, even your kids' names are out there on sketchy data broker websites. And those data brokers collect your data, they sell it, and then that puts you at risk for scams and fraud. But the good news is Delete Me goes in and removes your data to help protect you from phishing, harassment, and other online threats. Winston and I use Delete Me, and it saves us so much time and worry. You guys, your family's safety and financial security are way too important to leave exposed. So sign up for Delete Me and take control. Go to joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off, bringing your monthly cost to under $9, or just click the link in the description. It took me like years of therapy to finally understand, like, you can't control people.
Right,
You see something, you're like, oh my gosh, I want this to change in you. And you can't. And so that surrender then automatically, for me, puts the energy back to myself,
Correct.
right? And so this idea of I can control what I can control.
Yes.
And so in conversations and in relationship dynamics, what are the big things that we can control, that you see, that you're like, remember these? You can, obviously it's like what you say in that, but like, what are things that we can control?
You can absolutely control your breath. Breath is the number one I talk about a lot, because it is what sets everything off. Like you said, when you feel like you get worked up and you start yelling, the reason why is because if you say something that I don't like, I hear opinion I don't like, what's the first thing we typically do? We go, what do we breathe in?
Yeah,
our body's going like, oh, I need air quick. And we kind of shift in our seat, but then we don't let it out. We hold it.
Interesting.
And so we wait. And for now, we're actually getting heated.
Yeah.
Just like a volcano. And where's that voice and that ear is going to go? Right there. That's why you're yelling. That's why they're like, why are you yelling? And you're like, I'm not.
Totally.
Yeah, it's because your body's like, I need to put this air somewhere. So you can control your breath. Second of all is you really can, you can control the pace of the conversation. If I talk really fast and you talk really fast and we go.
Yeah, story of my life.
Yeah. So, right. So what I teach, like I'm preparing clients for deposition.
Okay.
What I harp so many times is you control the pace. You can't make me say anything I don't want to say. You can't make me say anything on your time frame. I can choose when I say it, if I say anything at all. And so when I slow down my words, when I lower my volume, that automatically makes you slow down your words, slow down your volume. And so those are probably the biggest components of, I can't make you do anything.
Yeah.
I can control myself.
Yeah.
So if I know I can control my breath, I control my pace, I control my tempo, that automatically is going to lower the temperature
Totally. It diffuses so much of the emotion.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, when you're just like in this, like, we're having to like one up each other, right?
Exactly.
And like, and it's like, just chill.
Instead of running in the conversation, choose to walk.
Yeah. So funny. I am a fast talker, and my friend Christy, one of my best friends, she's a fast talker, and we'll like do this app called Marco Polo. It's like a total millennial. Like, if you're in your 40s, you like probably know what it is.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because I can never 2x her. Like, I'll 2x other people to speed up their conversation,
like
just to get through it.
Yeah,
just to kind of get through it. But I always laugh because Christy and I both are like, we can't 2x each other because we like automatically just talk so fast. Yeah. But no, I think that's so good, and it just creates so much peace and margin in it. So with people that I talk to when it comes to money conflict and marriages and all of that is like it is like the perfect little box that always gets shipped out. Because money fights, it's such a big thing.
It's
because
the worst,
it does, and it points so much to our vulnerability, I think. And when couples are sitting down to talk, one of the biggest questions I get is, I feel like they're not hearing me. I feel like I have an opinion, I'm trying to say it, but they don't listen, or they don't want to be engaged in it. But when you have conflict, especially in a marriage, around a specific topic, so we could use money as an example, but I'm sure parenting,
anything,
religion, sex, all of it, right? How is it best for someone to approach their spouse in a conversation that they know this topic can be either it's not been well received in the past and or maybe they get defensive in it? Like, how can they continue to bring it forth because they want a good marriage? They want this topic to be resolved. What would you say to them?
Right. So let me frame it a certain way. Blanket any argument that I know you typically don't like. If I were to say, like for me, it's heights. For my wife, it's snakes. There's certain things we just hate.
Yeah.
Right. If I were to say, hey, if you were to ask me, hey, do you want to talk about heights? I'd say, no. Immediately, no. There's certain things that you know about the other person that for them, it's an immediate hard pass, immediate no. Whatever that is, you can apply that just like you said, money, whatever it is.
Right.
So we naturally want to say no to certain things. If you know that the other person that you're talking to is an automatic no on a subject, let's say it's money, then what we're going to do is we're going to tweak the question to get the no. This is a technique that from a very good friend of mine. His name's Chris Voss. He's fantastic. And we've become very good friends. FBI negotiator. So what you do is instead of trying to get to a yes, you're trying to get to a no. For example, if I were to ask you, is now a good time to talk? What do I need to be able to talk to you? I need you to say yes, right? That's a little bit harder. Most people don't want to say yes. They want to say no. But if I were to say, is now a bad time to talk? What am I getting? To get what I want? You to say no.
Interesting.
Way easier for you to say no.
Interesting.
And so what you start with is the negative.
Okay.
So if I have a very important topic that I want you to say no to get what I'm wanting, where I'm wanting to go.
Yeah, moving on,
Then I'm going to either start with, is it unreasonable? Are you against? Or are you opposed? Like this. Instead of, hey, can we talk about money right now? What do most people want to say?
No.
No. But if I say, are you against us talking about money for next week? Most people will say no. Are you opposed to talking about our kids' program? Whatever. Is it unreasonable for us to talk about the budget for next week?
So interesting.
And so whenever that happens, our gut is always to say no. And so if, for example, if I need to calm you down in an argument and we're yelling, if I say, is it unreasonable for us to talk at normal volume?
Right.
Yeah? No, who's going to go, yes, that's unreasonable.
It's unbelievable. Can't believe you'd even ask.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Are you against us talking at a normal pace right now? Are you opposed to us taking a step back?
So funny.
Who's going to say, yes, I'm opposed. We got to be terrible to each other.
Right.
They're going to say no.
Yeah.
Which means it's going to calm down.
Yes.
So use the
just
negatives.
Diffuse it. So interesting. And it's a little mental gymnastics too.
Very much so.
Because people don't use that.
It's an advanced move, we'll say. But I know you have advanced listeners.
That's right.
You have
advanced
Y'all
listeners.
know.
You guys know. Oh, so great. Well, Jefferson, thank you so much
for
stopping
by.
Me. And I am so excited about your book, The Next Conversation. And it came out a few months ago.
Yeah, 3 months ago.
But you guys, again, I mentioned it earlier, but I see it everywhere. I see you everywhere. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And where can everyone find you?
Well, I'll make it easy. You can go to jeffersonfisher.com. I have all my links there, as well as social media. You can type in Jefferson Fisher. I'm on all of them. I really like Instagram, but that's where it is.
So great.
Great to see you, Rachel.
Thank you again.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. Now, there's a lot more to be said about relationships and money. So make sure to check out my episode, Do This Now to Avoid Money Problems in Your Marriage, later. And you can click here if you're watching, or I'll put a link down below if you're listening on podcast. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.